Hi, Scott. Can you hear me?
Well, hello. Hi, Ashish. We are live now, it appears.
Right.
Good,
Okay.
good, good morning. That's great. I was just looking down to try and message somebody to make sure that was happening. Hello, everyone. I'm Scott Pearson. This is Ashish Kamotra. Thanks for joining this discussion about simplifying document security, compliance, and management within Microsoft Teams. Uh, just a little bit about TFW Labs. We're based in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and we also have operations in India. We've been in business for around 15 years, and we're a Microsoft Gold ISV. So, one thing that we're wanting to focus on today is the fact that we can enhance a user's ability to utilize Teams. We're providing a product called Titan Workspace. It's a Teams-based product, and it provides document management, guest user collaboration portals, internet and project and task functionalities to what we coin in the industry as a hybrid workforce. Ultimately, what has happened to us all is we're all working remotely now, and if we're going back to the office, it's often just it's often a hybrid or temporary thing. I understand our video's gone and received several messages. Is that true, Ashish? Or are we
I can I can see.
okay? We'll keep going. Uh, what we want to focus on today really are the challenges that are faced by Teams users, and we can't cover all those. We can't fix all the problems in 30 minutes, but we've identified some key discussion points. So, Ashish, that's why we're joining this discussion today. You know, the remote workforce issues, Teams popularity over last numbers I heard over 250 million daily users. There are some areas that we can greatly enhance, I believe, with these products. So what are your thoughts, Ashish, regarding our discussion over the next 25 minutes or so?
All right. So thanks, Scott. So I think Teams has become very useful to everyone during COVID, post-COVID, and we've learned that this is a tool that is literally 24/7 on our. It's always on with us, right?
Mhm.
And we are quite used to handling Teams files, communications, and a lot of other collaboration things. So as we started using Teams, we found that Teams has started creating some problems with the users in terms of file security, compliances. Uh, so we all are business users, right? So when we upload any file within a Teams channel, we struggle a lot to protect that file from rest of the members, right? And I've seen that this is creating a lot of security issues at the enterprise level where your Teams channel is literally vulnerable to any kind of uh, you know uh, security threats on the files that you're uploading there, right? So
Okay.
one of the things that we thought that we will help our users is to showcase that how we can solve this problem. So of course, Teams, when you're using Teams, it has lots and lots of other challenges unless you know SharePoint very well. But today we'd like to focus on a couple of them only. So I think we should focus on the top 3 or 4 Teams challenges when you're working in the Teams files. So if you can be a little precise about what exactly you want me to
Yeah,
teach.
Ashish, thank you. Yeah, I'm certainly can easily play the part of a normal business user. I'm not highly technical, so it's easy for me to relate to these key areas that seem to affect everyone. The things we want to really highlight today, in my mind, are how do we share securely out of
Right.
Teams? How can we restrict files in Teams? You know,
Yeah.
uh, how do we perform document approvals and compliance? As well as uh, something important to me often is the ability to work offline. And
Right.
really, I'd like to go through each of those four kind of key areas one by one, if possible. Yeah.
Right. So let me take it one by one. So the first challenge that we have is, how do I share my files with other members, right?
Right.
And when I'm sharing my files, how can I put restrictions on those files easily?
Right.
So did you try in Teams, Scott?
Yes, I serve as the perfect guinea pig for this. I am used to having these great tools to do all this stuff for me. So I went in and tried to actually share documents from my team's channel, and some interesting things happened. First of all, I get on the team's channel, look at the documents, and there's no sharing option, right? So my inclination is to just download the document and attach it to an email if I want to share it, right? Then I thought, okay, let's go back and look at how to share and figure that out. So I found that I had to use SharePoint or bounce out to SharePoint effectively.
Right.
So again, I just downloaded my document instead of doing that. Then I got really feeling guilty, and I opened SharePoint, and it was still a struggle. I mean, you can get it done, but the bottom line is, without SharePoint skills or knowledge, it's very difficult for most users to do. And I believe most companies have Teams channels with multiple unrestricted file directories sitting throughout their organizations. So now I know why, after going through that exercise. So how can we more easily share restrictions and without having to learn SharePoint?
All right. So let me quickly share my screen and show to our viewers that how can we all right. Let me share. Can you see my screen?
I cannot yet see the screen. No.
Okay. All right. So screen one. I think now you'll be able to.
There it goes. There's the screen.
So now I'm entering in. See, this is my Teams. Okay. And when we deploy Titan Workspace into your Teams, so it automatically collaborates among the different repositories of your documents, and it brings every document within one single unified view. Once your documents are within Titan Workspace, so I can just select this document. I can say share, and it gives me very easy options as business users. The first is my groups. So these are, I can create my own groups. For example, I want to share it with a sales group, or I can go and I can share this document with guest users. These are external users, which I have added to my tenant. And now I can see all the list of all guest users, companies where I can share this document. Or I can pick up my project teams, right? So we made so easy that a user doesn't have to learn SharePoint. So I can go and it tells me all my document repositories, right? And then I can either go or pick them one by one from my Active Directory users, right? So if I pick up a group, for example, sales group, and I want to share a document with them, what I need to do is I have 3 predefined options. So this is where we bring a lot of ease of use for business, that they don't have to learn SharePoint. And see, SharePoint would typically, in your teams, everybody has a read and edit options. Here, what we can do is, while sharing a document, you can put restricted view. So that means the recipient will be able to read this file online only, but he'll not be able to download or print or edit that file. You can also easily click this validity date, and you can put for how long this document is available to the recipient, and you can put a restriction on the document in terms of accessibility. So if you look at all this, we just picked up a file and we told system to whom are we willing to share this file, and then we are picking up the predefined restriction, which could be a contribute restriction, which could be a read, or which could be restricted, or it could be we can create any permutation of these restrictions and upload them into the system as a file, right? So therefore, once I share, this file is shared with rest of my colleagues, and I can go and I can see this, that the file has been shared with which people. For example, this file, if you look at, I shared with 4 individuals, and 2 of them have restricted view, one has a read, and another has a contribute. So on the same file, without learning SharePoint, I'm able to sort of, put restrictions, which otherwise, Scott, you were finding it very challenging to to learn that when if within SharePoint, right? So how do you find this?
I like that. I like that it doesn't make me learn SharePoint, and I don't have to bounce out or what feels like bouncing out to SharePoint
Right.
to get something done. That's great. So the next challenge that we have is kind of similar, but it's a little bit different in that. What about files that exist currently in your Teams channels, and you need to restrict them, but they're not restricted? And let me explain why that's important, at least to me. If and we're all parts of multiple Teams channels with multiple organizations, and you can we've all seen the sprawl, or we talk about urban sprawl. This is document sprawl all over the place typically, so it makes it even more difficult to keep track of documents and to secure them. But what happens when you're part of a large HR team working in Teams and you're discussing compensation matters or succession plans or any other, what should be private information and not accessible by others? The challenge, I think, in many Teams channels is how do I secure that? How do I restrict it from the existing users? And what kind of tool do I use? It's a challenge for most people. So again, how do I not have to learn SharePoint, but go in and restrict those files that exist in Teams? Does that
Right.
question make sense?
Oh yeah, this is definitely one of the big challenges that suddenly we find that we are part of 50 teams within my teams, and then there are so many channels within the teams, and every channel has documents and files, and I'm scared that if I upload a file in my team's channel, somebody can go and edit it, somebody can go and do so.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They can delete it, right?
You can delete it, right? And so the file is already shared with everyone within the teams. So Teams has multiple hierarchies, which are quite complex. You have owners, you have members, you have guests. So it's a very complex environment at the back end where it's a SharePoint. And if you really try to restrict your Teams files so that the other members cannot download it or maybe cannot modify or edit it, you still have to go to SharePoint, right?
Yeah.
So that's a challenge. So see, the adoption stops here. See, all we can do, we are enjoying Teams files. We are saying it's a great tool, but somewhere, we understand that it's a lot risky now, right? So again, what the problem that Titan is solving here is we are solving your security issues on that file. Okay. Now, it's impossible for a business user to actually learn SharePoint or learn the steps. And even if you teach them, I've seen that within few days, they forget about it and click Steam. And then, it's very difficult for them to get retrained again and again. So we kind of devised an interface within Microsoft Teams using Titan Workspace that allows us to pick up any file within Teams and put different restrictions on the same file to different members, right?
Right.
And let me show you how we do that. So once again, I'm going to share my screen. All right, so this time I'm going to show you, this is my Teams interface. Can you see, Scott?
I can, yes.
Right, so this is normally where I work in Teams. And if you look at the Teams, I have created a Teams which is called confidential documents, right? So this is a team which has confidential documents. It has a journal channel. It has files. It has one folder, and there are 4 files on top of it. I have kind of uploaded this file, which is Q1 pricing. And I want to say that nobody in this team should be able to download or edit or print this file. They can access it. And that's a security I want to put that on this file, right? So
Right.
Teams, it's very difficult. So let me tell you how we solve this problem in Titan. So this is Titan's interface, where again I get to my document management system within Titan. And the way that we handle here is that we allow you to bring any of your Teams channel within Titan and sync it. For example, I can add new library here, and I can say I want to bring a Teams channel within Titan. So with just one click, it shows me all the channels that I have, and I can just add them one by one to my Titan, right? Once this channel is added, for example, you see this confidential document library has been added in Titan as well. So it has a general channel, and within that channel, I showed you that there was a folder and there are 4 files. Now I want to put different restrictions on the same file for different members. All I have to do is I have to pick this file, and I have to go to permissions. So here, so this is the screen. This is very simplified by us. So it tells you that, there are members, there are visitors, there are owners in this group. And I want to say that I want to stop all the permissions, and I want to access, I want to give, I pick up a guest, for example, a member, and I say this member, I want to give her only restricted view. I picked up a member, and I said, picked up from the drop down, I picked up what I want to give a full control, edit, read, or restricted view. So kind of I gave them the restricted view, and I submit. Okay. Once I submit, this permission has been applied onto Teams file. And how do I track it? I go back to my Teams, and I probably have to refresh my team. Right? So Teams, if you look at this on Q1 pricing, Titan has put restricted view for this particular user. And I can go and I can add other users into the same one by one. And the entire file is restricted from download, from printing, from editing. So now this file is within my Teams. I don't have to worry that other members can go and edit, delete, or modify this file, because now this file carries special permissions through Titan, which is now carried all the way to your Teams channel. And here it's also visible against each file that what kind of additional security you have put on this file. So this is, I'm able to showcase it to you without even going to any SharePoint screens or opening SharePoint at the backend, right? So this is how we solve this problem. So what do you think, Scott?
As you know, that's a real plus for me, not having to bump into SharePoint to get something like that done.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think part of the real power of that is the fact that that restriction gets applied across the platform, back into teams where someone may be more comfortable working in teams, since that's where their colleagues are collaborating with them, but you can still apply those restrictions. That's really cool.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So let's move to our next topic. And this one's important to me because it's something that I think everyone in business faces. How do you get documents approved, and how do you achieve compliance? Uh, the document approval process in the old days when we were all in the office was pretty easy, wasn't it? We'd draft a document or a process or build a budget, and we'd walk across the hall and collaborate with someone and get approval, and we're done. It's over, and it hits the presses. We're, as we mentioned at the top of the meeting, we're working differently now. We need tools like these to help us collaborate more efficiently and get things done. So if I have a budget that needs to be approved, I need to do it through the system. So what I did was I went to, like you've been encouraging me to do, I went to Teams and tried to figure out how to get an approval on a document. Well, when I opened my Teams documents, I saw there was no approval capability there. I opened SharePoint and there wasn't, any standard approval there. I realized I think something popped up or it indicated that I needed to download an application. So I downloaded the approval application, installed it in Teams, and it did allow me to get a document approved, right? And I think I tested that process with you, Ashish. But I noticed some challenges with it. First of all, I kind of had to bounce all over the place to get that done. But there were some things I noticed. It was a complex process that I'm not sure I still understand how I can get multiple approvers to approve a document sequentially. Now,
Right.
you can add multiple approvals concurrent so that everyone in the list approves it. So there's no sequential approval. The other thing I noticed was, once approved, a document can be modified. So that didn't make sense to me, and maybe you can help me understand why they do that. But once a document's approved, it should be locked in my mind. Right. And hey, bottom line, once that approval process takes place, I noticed it's still buried in the Teams channel out there somewhere. It's not located in a space where I can easily sort and get to it. So those are three things I noticed that would be a challenge for me. There may be better answers or more things that need to be pointed out, but those are the three main ones. So what are your thoughts, Ashish?
Yes, see, when we're talking about the document lifecycle during our daily work, the approval is one of the most important, right? So today, most of the corporations are taking approvals through emails, right? Mm-hmm. So all you do is attach a document to your boss and, he approves it. So there's no way that document gets logged. And it's a kind of email is all creating a trail of comments on the same document as an attachment, but it's not helping you to protect the document once it is approved, right?
No.
So again, I'm coming back to security, right? So this is, imagine a large corporation where the budgets are approved and, through emails, and then somebody can go and modify the approved document. So there's no trail, there's no digital IDs tagged to that. There's no trail of approvers that, when did they approve the document. So again, all these things are creating more security problems on the documents as we start to approve, right? These documents. Right. So the way that we handle this problem is that we allow users to, one, create a sequential approvals by themselves with just very simple screen, right? So you don't have to learn SharePoint. Again, I'm coming back to the same point, Scott, because why Titan was created, because we all got stuck in SharePoint. And unless we could learn that, we could not go beyond the basic usage of SharePoint, right? Now, Microsoft has already said that, SharePoint is the back end of Teams. So therefore, unless we leverage that platform fully within the Teams, it's very difficult for a user to enjoy best of both Teams and SharePoint together, right?
Right.
So the problem that we solve is we allow users to pick up a document and create multiple approvers and track that approval process within Titan. Second, once the document is approved, this is logged, converted into a PDF, and this is logged. Therefore, everybody has the final copy of a document within the same repository. Okay. Now, when you were trying to do approvals within Microsoft Teams, you would have noticed that, if you have a SharePoint repository and if you want to run your approval on a document or from the Teams channel, eventually the document can be tracked only in approval app.
Right.
Okay. So again, you are creating two different destinations for the same files. Right. So that's again, if you're talking of hundreds of such files in a week, then how are you going to track?
Yeah, that's not best practice.
That's not the best practice, and that's that's a real challenge with the business user. The third problem that we are solving here is we have integrated Titan with e-signatures, Adobe e-signatures, right? Now, Microsoft Teams allows a ready-made API that you can pick and log into your Adobe, and you can send a document for Adobe signatures, which is perfect. But the challenge there is that once you send that document, there is no way you can track that document within Teams. Mm-hmm. Because it leaves your Teams and goes to Adobe Cloud. And then, yes, you may get your notifications through emails and an attachment, but that's not where my original document was lying, right?
Right.
And the problem that creates is when the document is fully approved, where does it go? It does not come back to your original SharePoint or Teams library. It goes to either your approval app or it goes to somewhere in your email as an attachment, as a fully executed document, right? Yeah. So imagine if you got hundreds of such documents lying in your inbox as a finally executed, attachments. So what do you do with them? So Titan
I usually find a document I like and throw it into my desktop. But before long, my desktop's full.
Right. So we handle this problem very nicely. And let me show you a couple of things which probably are quite interesting in terms of how we handle this challenge within Microsoft Teams. So again, I'm sharing my Teams screen with you.
I see it. Yes.
All right. So you see, this is my document repository within Titan, which is synced with my local drive, my departmental documents, my project documents, my external user documents. They're all available in one single console here. And you see, I have run certain approvals on these documents. So if you look at this document, marketing budget approval, I started an approval and I sent it to 2 users, right? And I can track them that it has gone to you, but it is still, you have not signed it. And the second one, of course, it's a sequential. So unless you sign it, he'll not be able to sign that too. Mm-hmm. So this is an easy way for me to track where my document is once I launch an approval. Starting an approval is also very easy. For example, I can go and I can pick up a file, right? And I can open this file. So I want to take approval. So this is how I create an approval. Here you see, I have an option to send it to anybody using my Adobe e-signature account, or we also have Titan e-sign, and that's a free e-signature available as part of Titan subscription, right? And I can go and add steps. I can add as many number of approvers on the fly. And one thing that you have to notice, Scott, is that none of this screen is SharePoint looking screen. It looks like a normal business user screen.
Right.
So, it's a very quick to learn that once we deploy Titan document management system, you don't have to go through rigorous trainings, and the time to go live is absolutely short. Once these documents are approved, I don't have to go to my Outlook to find these documents, or I have to go to approval app to find it. these documents were created by me in my documents, and once they are approved, they are lying right away after approved in my document repository. So for example, I can see that this is fully executed document, right? I can see this document. I can open this document now, and I can see from this download, if you look at this download, this is fully executed document.
Okay.
So now I used Adobe for this. So once the document was signed by Adobe, it tracked all the Adobe attributes, and then it logged the document and it brought back to my Teams repository, right? So if you look at the simplicity that we are kind of bringing to all this, that's where the Titan is adding a lot of value to that. So our e-signatures are free, and the value that we are bringing there is, Scott, a lot of companies have requirement where the employees are supposed to sign internally a lot of documents, and the companies are always finding it to buy those subscriptions from Adobe or DocuSign, and pay a hefty price for each signature that they put on the document. So if this is an internally approval needed, Titan eSign can solve this problem, and they can save a lot of money actually.
Yeah. So that's a great solution. One of the most important things you said to me was that you didn't have to go back to Outlook to find your documents.
Yes.
I've spent half my career looking through Outlook for lost documents, right? All too many people use that as their repository for document management, unfortunately. Right. But this tool actually gives you a usable tool that you'll want to use as opposed to trying to learn something like SharePoint. Now we're not knocking SharePoint. This obviously we base our product on SharePoint. It's a very powerful tool set. It's just not user friendly to the normal business user. So we kind of bridge that gap, is what we're saying. Hey, one final problem, and there are many more things that we could talk about around this, and we hope to in the future with anyone that wants to talk to us. But how do I get offline access to documents? Now, I can tell you how I usually do it, and I know it's not the right methodology. I mentioned a while ago. If I have a document I need to go offline with, I'm getting on an airplane, or my hotspot isn't functioning, I'll just download a document that I need and throw it into my desktop, right? Right. And then when I need it, it's just right there in my desktop, and modify it. I may or may not remember to throw it back where I have my repository where it's organized or whatever, but that's my quick, down and dirty, easy, methodology for accessing offline files. There's a lot better way to do that, I know. But when I try and do it, it's hard for me to bring Teams files into OneDrive. It's not the process isn't obvious. Again, I tried it. You told me to go try it, and again, you have to know what you're doing and be trained on that process. And to me, it's not something that I would do every day and retain if I did learn how to do it. Right? I need some kind of methodology. So, how can I get that done with our process here?
Right. See, typically, if you look at offline access, we all talk about OneDrive. Mm-hmm. Okay. And, the way OneDrive works is you can actually go and sync different repositories to OneDrive. However, to do that, you need to learn how to do all that. And that's a challenge.
Yeah.
I've seen most of our users which are using OneDrive is once they sync their OneDrive, that OneDrive is kind of becomes their repository. It's more for securing the storage. If something happens to my cloud or if happens to my laptop, everything is secure on my OneDrive. And that's how people perceive OneDrive at the moment, right? Mm-hmm. the challenge with that is that if you have a lot of other SharePoint sites or you have created a lot of channels within your teams, how can you bring them easily into your offline access?
Yeah.
So if you try to do that, you can, of course, do that through OneDrive, but it's very challenging for a business user to learn those steps. That's where Titan comes into picture. So what we are saying is all we are doing is simplifying Office 365, Teams, and SharePoint experience for a business user, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me share my screen and tell you that how quickly you can sync everything from your Teams to your local drive, right? So here we go. So if you look at, we talked about syncing this confidential, you see this is my Teams drive, which is synced to Titan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can you see my screen, Scott?
Yes, I can.
Right. So this is my Teams confidential. I'm going back to the same team, which is channel, which is confidential documents. It is a general channel, and within those channels, there are these files and folders, right? So I go to my confidential channel, and I just as a business user, I have to say sync. So now Titan has synced everything from this channel and to my local drive. So let me show you my local drive. Now, if I see this local drive, you see this is my Titan deployed on this tenant, and all my confidential documents are now synced here. Okay. It also carries all the security that was applied on my Teams channel, right? So if I can edit this document here in my offline mode, and as soon as I get an internet, the document will sync back to my Teams. So what we are trying to do here is that everything which I'm creating on my Titan Workspace or Microsoft Teams, I'm allowing users to bring everything as an image onto their C drive. So you see, this is my traditional OneDrive, but my OneDrive wouldn't have all that kind of segregations like departmental documents or project documents or anything, for that sort. So for me, it's a lot easier to work in Titan and actually go and sync my files and start using them offline, right? So we are making that easy for a user, that they don't have to understand the complexity of OneDrive, the click stream, go back to admin panel of OneDrive, go to settings, and look at your SharePoint list. Look at your
the tool does it for you.
Right, tool does it for you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the other thing it does for you that's really important to me is it applies those same restrictions that are applied in Teams. Into OneDrive, the restrictions are applied even if you're working offline. That restriction will apply to the file, which is pretty cool.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, hey, we've managed to cover 4 topics now, and I know there were a couple of questions that were sent to us. Some people may have had trouble posting questions in the chat box. That's okay. You can send us questions after this meeting if you're unable to get them to. But just a couple of quick ones. Can we apply restrictions for guest users or non-employees? The answer is yes. We're able to actually extend a guest user portal to allow non-Microsoft credentials people even, but those that you're accepting into your guest user, allow them to work in your environment under your designed security level, if you will. So you can create a template that allows a collaborator that's not an employee to only have access to that information they're collaborating with you on. and do it in a very secure way. And again, what do we all do? We attach spreadsheets to emails and send project plans to out into the wild, typically, to get work done. So that was my answer for that. Anything else on that, Ashish?
No, that's a perfectly fine. So guest users is one of the growing need of enterprise today, right? And security on the guest user is one of the most high priority for these. See, we have to look at products like Box, Dropbox, and all. Why they became popular? Because you could share your files externally more securely without learning any technical stuff, right?
Right.
And if you look at Office 365 and Teams, it offers the same features, even more security than Dropbox, rather. But we are challenged to use it because it's very complex to use it. It's very complex to learn, right? So Titan makes all that very easy. We offer guest user portals where you can set up guest user portals for your customers, vendors, subcontractors, and give them a secure platform to work both with internal and external users, right?
Yeah, good. Well, just the next one. Can we just buy DMS, or do we have to buy everything on your list? The answer is yes. Either way, obviously, we'd like to provide a full featured system to you. A lot of people elect to go with a document management system and guest user portal to facilitate collaboration, and then expand beyond that to other products. So we can craft the solution for you. Last question I have on my list here is where does Titan store the documents? Maybe you can handle that one, Ashish.
Yeah, see, Titan and all your documents information is on your Office 365 tenant only. So Titan does not run from any third-party cloud. It is deployed as an app within your Teams directly onto your SharePoint layer and within your Office 365 tenant. So therefore, in terms of your data residencies, protection, policies, securities, we are just sitting within M365 framework. So the data is with you. Your documents are on your cloud only, right?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Ashish. Again, if anyone has other questions, feel free to reach out to us via LinkedIn or other through our website. A couple of announcements. We're at the end of our meeting. We're going to be having another one of these on April 19th, and our topic for that meeting will be guest user portals. So we'll dig deeper on that very important functionality and why companies feel that it's very important. It essentially allows you to create a collaboration standard with everyone you're collaborating with. So that's very important. We'll be sending a notice out on that. Also, before you go, thank you very much for your time and attention today. Our hope is that what we shared today is very helpful to you, and will help you better work in the Teams environment. And certainly glad to answer any additional questions about Titan Workspace and how we can help you there. In addition to providing a demonstration or a pilot, please let us know. You can go to our website, fill out the request form, or again, contact us via LinkedIn. Also, if you're a partner and interested in providing this solution to your customers, please contact us via the link on our website, and we'd be happy to have a discussion with you. If there are no other comments, Ashish, I think we can close till next time.
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. Yeah.
Okay.
Look forward for the next webinar.
Great. I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much. And until next time, we'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.